So let's dig in a little bit deeper about what all this means. And joining me now is Georgia Congressman Doug Collins. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Well, Heather, we're glad to be with you. It's a great day.
You've been very busy over there, so let's get right to what people care about the most. Who will see more money in their pocket and when?
Well, the majority of Americans are going to see money in their pockets. And just like you had just a second ago, the speaker actually talking about the median income at $70,000 couple. When they're going to see $2,000 more in their pocket, that's the kind of growth that we're looking for. That's the kind of things that when come February, when they see this in their paycheck, they're going to know that what we're talking about here actually matters to the American public. And that's what we've been doing all along.
So why the difference in opinions? Listen to what Steny Hoyer had to say last night on Special Report.
The main issue is this is a bad bill. It's a bad bill for our country. It's going to create great debt. And it's perverse in the sense that it gives some 83% of the tax cuts to the wealthiest in America.
You know, he's not alone. We also hear, benefits going to the top 10% of earners. We had Nancy Pelosi saying it's shoddily written, it's a tax scam. And then, of course, Chuck Schumer said it blows the whole deficit. It threatens Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So are they lying? Who's telling the truth?
Well, look, Nancy Pelosi talking about any bill being shoddily written, I mean, that's a pretty large leap right there, because when you consider health care and everything else she's been a part of. But let's just look at it. The problem here is a focus on difference. We have a progressive tax system. We all know that. We've had that progressive tax system for years. It taxes you at the rate of income in which you've succeeded at. The problem here is not the tax code. The problem here is they want to politicize the tax code because they believe that government is a much better way to spend people's money. They believe that the money taken out of people's wallets and sent to Washington, D.C. to fund programs that they like is a much better use in doing that. And so what they're trying to do is just simply play off programs. They don't want to talk about their ideology. They don't want to talk about the fact that they believe it to be better. What they're simply saying is, one, we didn't do it, so we don't like it. And number two is, we're not being very honest with the American people to say on how they get the benefits and how they don't. But I will say this, come February, let them look some of their constituents in the eyes and say, I really didn't want you to get that money back in your paycheck. We could spend it better. That'll be an interesting argument.
It will be interesting because Chuck Schumer said Republicans will rue the day that they voted for this. You talked about spending money. Now, this bill does add to the deficit, $1 trillion to the deficit. How do you plan to pay for that?
Well, that's based on the fact of you're looking at it right now is everything stays the same. I personally don't want to see this economy stay the same. I don't want to see the 1% growth that the Obama administration began to seem to be in love with because they never did anything about it. They never looked forward to a growth economy. This tax reform provides growth. This tax reform provides our businesses and our job opportunities to have growth, which fuels income, which fuels growth and reducing our debt. So I think when you look at it, you got to look at the total picture and not a static view of if everything stayed the same right now.
All right, one more thing, and I have to ask you this. I know your wife was a lifelong educator in Georgia. My sister is a teacher in Georgia. I was reading from one of your local papers, an op-ed, and this statement was made. Tell me if this is true.
Okay.
When teachers can deduct school supplies, when teachers cannot deduct school supplies, but corporations can, it's just shameful. Is that true?
Well, no, the teachers can. We left that in there. Teachers can still deduct, but also for that letter writer, let me ask you something. Do they take into the account that a single taxpayer is going to have their standard deduction raised from $6,000 to $12,000? They take a married couple like my wife and I, she's been teaching for 28 years, and my love of my life is with me today. She looks at this and says, we're getting from $12,000 to $24,000 for families like us.
Okay.
What it again is ideological and a fear-mongering from the Democratic leadership on down.
All right, yeah, and Republicans need to work on getting the other message out. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a good day.
Have this great